McQueen, the plane's done hit the Pentagon. You know, I'm sure there's a couple people out there that wonder why I make these reviews and why my reviews seem to be so receptive within the Balisong community. And I mean, the only answer that I can think of is I went to a wedding this weekend, and guess who the best man was? That's right, it was this guy right here. And I don't think any of you guys were a best man this weekend. So you know, I guess that answers that. All right, I think my task of making myself look like the biggest douchebag on planet Earth has been completed. You know, I was a pretty big fan of The Lion King when I was a child. Oh, here's a fun story. In 8th grade, I went on the DC, New York trip, and one of our stops was seeing The Lion King on Broadway. And, like, I was a dumb 8th grader, so I thought seeing a play was gonna be stupid. But then the play actually started, and they were doing, like, the sunrise scene, and they had, like, people on stilts as giraffes, 4 or 5 people dressed as a giant elephant, and they would walk through the crowd, which I thought was really, really cool. So I saw the entire intro of The Lion King live on Broadway, and I was like, wow, boy was I proven wrong. This is actually one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my entire life. And then I fell asleep for the rest of it. Why did I fall asleep? Well, because I was an 8th grader that was getting woken up at like 5 a.m. every morning and then was out being a tourist until like 2 a.m. And this was like the 4th day of us doing that. And then to conclude my Lion King experience, I went and saw the live action Lion King when it came out, and I don't remember a single thing that happened in it. Like, I know what happens in the Lion King, but I don't remember the live action version at all. Yeah, like, as a kid, forget it. I was a Lion King stan. But I'm not as much of a Lion King fan to start a balisong company and then name my first balisong as a play on the motto of the Lion King. This balisong is called the Akuma Matata by Akuma Bladeworks. We are cutting to the B-roll now because I can't think of anything else to say. Hello, my tribe of twinks that are tantalized and titillated by the twirling of butterfly knives. DenDenBMX here, and Akuma Bladeworks slid into my DMs a while ago, and they said, hey DenDen, we made a balisong. I'm gonna send it to you, and we would really appreciate it if you took that balisong and busted down animal style. And now that I'm almost as acquainted with this balisong as I am your mother, I think we're ready for the review. But before we get into that, I just want to take a second to thank you guys for all the love and support on all my recent videos. It truly does mean a lot. As always, if you guys go on to enjoy this video, I would really appreciate it if you let me know and help support the engagement on this video by leaving a like, leave a comment, give me your thoughts and opinions, share the video around. And if you regularly watch this channel and you haven't already subscribed, well,
oh dear, I seem to have spotted a cunt. Good day!
I need to thank you guys again, because between this video and the last video I uploaded, my YouTube finally surpassed my Instagram, which has been something that I've wanted to happen for quite a long time, because Instagram sucks ballsack. So thank you guys for getting me past 16,200 followers. The next goal we have to reach is the much sought after 17,000 subs. And I don't know what's gonna happen when we reach 17,000 subs, but boy, I tell ya, it's probably gonna get demonetized. So any help towards that goal would be greatly appreciated. I also just want to take another second to thank Akuma Bladeworks for sending this balisong over to review. And I would also like to thank the sponsor of today's video, Knife Pivot Lube. As always, if you guys want to get yourself some KPL products, use the link that I have in the bio of this video as well as pinned in the comment section. It'll take you to KPL's website, get anything your heart desires, and over at checkout, use code DenDenBMX. If you use my link and use my code, you'll get a discount, I'll get some kickback. And just like that, we've basically gone to third base with each other. Water is so fucking good, guys. Now, before I bend this balisong over and show it the 50 states that I can remember, let's talk about the specs on this thing first. According to their website, the Akuma Matata from Akuma Bladeworks is an innovative tuning fork blade that creates a unique sound profile and ring as it's being flipped, accompanied with an intricate handle design that resounds a timeless feel to the whole balisong. Those are definitely all words. The Akuma Matata was created using 7075 channel aluminum handles that, as you can see, have been anodized orange and pink. It is an interesting color combination, but who am I to judge, because I told them to surprise me with the color scheme, and boy did they. This balisong uses a heat-treated and hardened 420C steel blade, and in a very unique feature, this balisong comes with titanium-plated pivot screws. This balisong runs on bushings and bronze phosphorus washers. It has press-fit Zen pins and a crowned spine on the blade. It comes with a polishing cloth and a spare set of hardware, and all in all, this thing weighs exactly 4 ounces. And now, I think by now, we are all more than well acquainted with my opinion on aluminum balisongs. The slipperiness of an aluminum balisong has been the bane of my existence since I regularly started reviewing balisongs. And here we have a new competitor for the title of potentially the most grippy aluminum-handled balisong in existence. Does it win that title? Not quite, but it gets a hell of a lot closer than most other aluminum-handled balisongs. What made me so interested in this balisong was the faces of the handles. As you saw in the B-roll, it has a very intricate and unique milling pattern to it. There's all this diamond-like milling that goes throughout the entire length of the faces of the handles. And while I will say that it does supply more grip than your standard aluminum balisong, it's not really as much as I'd like. And really all that comes down to is I feel like it's just not milled deep enough. I feel like if they milled it just a little bit deeper, your fingers would dig into there a little bit more and it would supply a lot more grip. However, the thickness of the milling is not a problem at all on the sides of the handles. There's one cutout right here that looks like they wanted to give this thing speed channels but gave up at the last second, and then there's some very deep aggressive jimping in the sides of these handles, and I tell you what, it makes me hard. The grip on the sides of this balisong, it's good. And as you can see, it didn't even take a whole lot. When most balisong manufacturers go to mill out the sides of the handles, if they do anything at all, it's almost like they're playing that game of I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you, and they get up to where like it's just barely touching the balisong, and then they carve just like the tiniest little sliver out of the sides, and they're like, look, we put grip. What more do you want, you fucking moron, bitch? But Akuma Bladeworks rearranged the insides of this balisong with their milling machine. They were not afraid to actually get up in there and make some jimping that actually works, that you can actually feel, that actually supplies some grip, at least on the sides of the handles. On the face of the handles, they were still kind of playing how's my tip taste, but the sides of the handles grip makes up for a lot of the slack in the faces of the handles grip. Now, before we get into the flipping demo, I want to talk about these titanium plated screws right here. So far, I have had zero issue with these screws stripping or not working in any way, shape, or form. However, other people have had that issue. But Ethan from Blade Bias was also sent an Akuma Matata, but unfortunately, the pivot screws that came on his were causing him quite a bit of a kerfuffle. But luckily, Akuma Bladeworks is very well aware of their current issues with their pivots, and they are working on a solution. Mine doesn't seem to have that issue, but I do want to point out that that issue is there for some people. However, Akuma Bladeworks is working on a solution. Apparently, he just couldn't get his pivot screws to like actually hook into the pivots of this balisong, and it felt like it was stripping even though it wasn't. Again, mine get in there. They don't get in there very deep, but they get in there enough to where it grabs on, and I am able to tighten these pivots. And I know that because while I may not have an issue with the hex heads on these pivots, I have had a bit of an issue of them not staying in place. My pivot screws came loose rather quickly. And it's not the end of the world. Really, all I got to do is just tighten them up a little bit, and we're back to almost no play and zero tap. But if I flip it for longer than like 10 minutes at a time, the pivots do come a little loose and I do have to retighten them. Which is more of like a minor QC issue, I would say, but I'm sure there's some people out there that would have quite a bit of a fuss over that. And you don't even have to just take my word for it. You're probably going to get to watch me retighten these pivot screws when we get into the flipping demo, which is going to start right now. Now, the flippability of the Akuma Matata is actually quite nice. This is one of my more favorite aluminum balisongs that I have flipped. While I wish it had a little bit more grip than it does, I'd say it's an acceptable amount of grip for an aluminum handled balisong. Because a lot of aluminum balisongs do flip well when it comes to like their balance and just like their raw flippability potential. But what hinders them is the grip on them. Like, it doesn't really matter if a balisong can flip well if I can't keep the damn thing in my hands. But luckily, that is not a gigantic issue on this balisong. Now, it still is a little bit of an issue, and the slipperiness of this balisong will sneak up on you every now and then. But for the most part, I'm not trying way too hard to like keep this balisong in my hands. For the most part, it has a pretty decent and acceptable amount of grip. To go back to what we were talking about a second ago, Now this balisong has tap because the pivot screws got a little loose. All I have to do is tighten these things up a little bit more and they should be good for a little while. Ooh, that felt good. There we go. Oh. Yeah. So yeah, I like the way this thing flips. I'm having a grand old time flipping this thing. It has a slight handle bias to it, which I like. Yeah, everything feels really good. Aerials are easy to time. Parabolics all feel good of all kinds. Rollovers and twirls and scissors and all the fun stuff like that. Choker fan and palm fans. It all feels really good on this balisong. It doesn't get all wonky or weird with any of them. I quite like how it flips. Palm fans, in particular, feel quite good on this balisong when you get them right. Let's check on the shortstop progress. I did it, but it was a little sketch. I did it again. It was still a little ugly. Shortstops are still a little hit and miss. I don't necessarily have them on command yet, but we're getting there. Oh man, that would have been a good one. That was an okay one. That one was decent. But yeah, flipping wise, this balisong feels pretty dang good. I cannot lie to you, boys and girls. I like the way this thing flips. I like the way it feels. I wish it was a little bit grippier, but I think for an aluminum balisong, it has a acceptable amount of grip, especially on the sides of the handles. Ladders feel great on this balisong. That's one thing I forgot to mention. That jimping really works. It's probably the best working jimping I've felt on any aluminum balisong that I've ever tried. And that's not hyperbole. This jimping is deep and aggressive, and I wish every aluminum balisong had it, because this jimping actually works. And what I really like about this balisong is sometimes I miss the jimping when I go to do a ladder. Sometimes I'll have it a little bit up here, but it's still helpful because there's that like faux speed channel cut out right there, and my finger still digs into that, which still allows me to have sufficient grip on this balisong whilst doing ladders. I'd say the only downside to this balisong is just that I have to keep retightening these pivots, which is a little lame, but when you're as old of a flipper as I am, it's not something you're not used to. Oh, I missed the fan! Dang it. Whatever. God damn it. Whatever, I'm taking that. Alrighty, let's wrap up this video with a little sound test, shall we? So as always, we're gonna go in dry, see what it sounds like, and then we're gonna put some KPL oil up in this thing, and then see what it sounds like again. So here's the dry sound test for the Akuma Matata. I feel like this guy's a KPL heavy kind of guy. Alright, now here's the sound test of the Akuma Matata with some KPL heavy. So with that, we're going to wrap up this review of the Akuma Bladeworks Akuma Matata. Overall, I think this is one of the better aluminum balisongs that you can get right now, especially in terms of grip. It's not quite up there with the Trident or the Polaris, but I'd say it's just like a notch below. I think if the milling on the faces of the handles was a bit deeper, a bit more aggressive, they got the sides of the handles down. They don't need to do anything with that. That is some of the best grip on any aluminum balisong I have ever tried. I recommend that they make more of this balisong like the sides of the handles. And then of course just the QC issues, like the pivots on mine not really staying in place, or Ethan over at Blade Bias having a real problem with even just getting his screw to hook into these pivots. I think once they work out little issues like that, this is going to be one competitive balisong, especially for the price. This thing retails for $135 US monies, and it comes with 7075 aluminum handles, which is quite a good upgrade from 6000 series aluminum. But that is going to wrap up today's video. Before we go, I just want to give a gigantic shout out to Cosmic Steez, Yana Kaminsky, A Horse Running, Jet, and Solaire Flair. These are the 5 current channel members, and their extra support really does mean a lot. If you want to join these guys and get a shout out in my longer videos and just help support the channel in a bigger way, you can go down there and click the join button. Tiers start as low as $3, but if you don't want to join a membership, there's also that super thanks button down there, which is kind of like a little tip jar if you want it to just be a one-time thing. Once again, a huge thank you to Akuma Bladeworks for sending over the Akuma Matata for me to try out. And another big thank you to KPL for sponsoring today's video. And a gigantic thank you to you for watching, especially if you made it this far. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy, once again, let me know by leaving a like, leave a comment, give me your thoughts and opinions, share the video around. Make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already. We are on the road to 17,000 subs. And with that, I think I'm done being a tool. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.